Hi, Amanda. I'm Mandy. Just wanted to show off this beautiful crystal. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but that's a large Herkimer diamond with rainbows. So pretty. If I had a flashlight, I'd show you. It's gorgeous in this face here. So pretty. This is a rare citrine, natural citrine. Had this for years. So beautiful. Citrine's really good for abundance, for personal empowerment and making money, doing what you love, joy, creativity. It's a really, really good stone if you are starting a business venture. Have some citrine by your till. It's a great, great stone. I wanted to say today that I've been talking with my family a lot and been waiting for some basically financial payments to come into alignment that have been coming to fruition for a while, and all of the ensuing conversations that's coming from like a big change in life that's coming, and the very interesting thing about family dynamics with siblings and parents when you're an adult is sometimes it feels like things are getting worse, but then it breaks through to better. Like maybe it's just my family. I don't know, but it seems like silence is not our way of processing. It's almost like we have to say the hurtful things or the wrong things, and then we sort of get it off our chest, and then we're able to move on. And there's been a lot in the last, this year, really. This year it feels like almost daily occurrence is to have a conversation with one of my brother, sister's mom, and nieces, nephews, like extended family, close friends, and hashing out misconceptions, judgments, disapprovals, pride and love and appreciation of the other person not spoken, a way of communicating where you're not making that other person devalued. So anyways, it's like a really crazy, it's really up for me right now, and looking at the effects of the choices that I've made in my life and how that's affected my family. And, seeing my mom, because I always had a very strange connection with my mom where it's almost, I got, goosebumps, but it's like we had different readers talk about our relationship, but it's almost like a pseudo marriage. Like we were joined together and like a partnership, not like a normal mother-daughter. And it's very strange because every woman in my mom's siblings, they all had one daughter that they attached to, and they never remarried or had significant partners. They had this daughter. So it was like a huge karmic ancestral thing. And my dad and siblings tried to help free me, but the truth was I never really had I've never been married at 48, and I have no children, and I lived primarily with my mom, like caring for my mom, even though I rented and had my own places, and I moved away. I'd come back, or she'd have an accident and I'd go back to look after her, or there was an entanglement. And seeing her now at 82, 81, almost 82, alone, like her mom, in the very same trailer park in Courtney, like her mom, she's just lost her driver's license like her mom. And, you know, like, I don't really know how to describe it, but like there's a strange sense when you're older of looking at your family and seeing yourself in them. And like there's a very strong parts of my mom that are mirrored or enacted by each of my sisters and my brother and myself. And I was speaking with my mom for like an hour last night, and she was saying how she feels like really judged and that she just wants to be herself, but like that she's too weird, and the things she thinks and the way she speaks, like the choices she makes, who she talks to is like not okay with us. Somewhat with me because I am more, you know, familiar with her. But we had this really interesting conversation where it's like I feel similar, but I get it. Like I get what my sisters, my brothers saying to me, that sure, it's my life, but the choices that I'm making with my life affect them because they're sort of picking the pieces up. And they don't need to, but they love me and they don't want to see any harm come to me. So they step in and they help me when they don't really want to. Or maybe they probably shouldn't because they're not in like a completely perfect scenario where they can help me without, you know, like say they have to pay my rent, for example, they have to pull money out of an RSP or something to do that. Like it's not just like they're infinitely wealthy and can do so without effect. Or like they see me not having a job, and so then they're trying to pull some strings to get me a job with somebody they know, but then their name's attached to that person. And if I don't live up to an appropriate standard of work, it negatively affects them. So there's this sense of helping with one hand, but this sense of obligation and a stifling of the self to conform so that one can say yes to those supports. It's a very, I feel blessed and lucky to have somebody that gives a crap about me and wants to support me, but I also feel like maybe if you free fall, you bounce back faster. Maybe if there's all these safety nets, you don't ever really get to find your own ground and like walk your own path because you're walking somebody else's version of your path. And it's complicated because there's these conflictions. And I know some of these very intense conversations that's been happening with my siblings lately. It's like they're like, why are you angry? And I'm saying, why are you angry? And it's like, I'm not angry, don't tell me how I am. But like you feel this tension when you speak to each other. And I think part of it is this like entanglement, this entrapment that we felt from our parents, and an obligation to be there for each other, even if maybe we don't want to, or maybe we shouldn't or can't, because another like really strong theme has been helping, quote unquote. And like, I've dissected this, like if you're helping somebody, did they ask for the help? And are you positioned to offer the help the way they're asking for it? Because I think too often we help somebody the way that we want to help them, and maybe it's not helpful to them. And so then there's this weird resentment and karma that builds. So like I'm surrounded by old souls. Maybe we've come back to like work on some really tough stuff, but it's up right now. And I feel like so good today because I feel like things have broken through. But last month I did not feel good. Last month I was like, what the F? Like every foot I felt like had a step I took, I felt like I was stepping in like crocodile pits and like intense. So yeah, it's been pretty interesting, but I feel like talking about it today because I feel like there's a huge breakthrough, and I feel like there's a detachment on my part. Like it's not so triggering to hear other people's opinions or insights. And partly because this conversation I had with my mom yesterday, like she just had a stroke like a month ago, and it scared the crap out of us because, you know, you want to think you're ready for something like that, but I never seen her as somebody like that could be incapacitated. I mean, our mom's like a total rebel. Like she has done it all. Like she has lived off grid, she has farmed, she's driven big machinery, she's renovated houses, she's motorcycled a Harley Davidson for 30 years and owned her own businesses. And like, I mean, the woman is a force to be reckoned with. I think anybody that my siblings could probably say yeah to that. And then on top of it, she's like this crazy, like shamanic, spiritual healer woman, and she worked in my store for a decade, and people still remember her and like the healings that she gave them and the relationships they have with her, even though they don't speak with her, they always remembered her. It's like when she walks around the town, everybody's like, hey, 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 like, and she's like, oh my God, I know so many people. But you know, like she had a stroke and she has cataracts and she can't see well, and she couldn't walk unassisted, she couldn't speak properly. The healthcare available for her has diminished over the last couple of years because of no workers, part of the fallout of the COVID stuff. So they can only reheat meals, they can't cook for her, they can't clean for her. And you know, so my brothers had to step in as like a primary care worker, him and his wife, and children, or his young adults. They had to go and like make everything clean, throw out old food that was expired, move everything down so she could reach it. They've had to be cooking and preparing meals, leaving them there, and driving her to doctor appointments, and like really thrown into the fire. And me, I'm in Mexico. So like the things I used to do and that were fallen on me are now on other siblings because I'm not there. And I really deeply want to bring her here to Mexico. And my new landlord has a caregiving business for seniors and stuff. So I'm going to explore that. But, you know, there's probably some other adults like myself that have these strong like urges to be with the parents, but then they're like moved because of, you know, international work from home, remote work, or like crypto and other ways of making money so you're free at a younger age, real estate investment. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people in their 50s that have parents in the 80s, 70s and 80s. There was another YouTuber I watched that they sold everything in Mexico to move back to Florida because his wife's mom was getting older and she didn't want to go to Mexico. So it's like they sold everything and moved back home and had to get a job again and take a mortgage and get back in debt so that they could afford a lifestyle there. So it's interesting. Thankfully, like our mom in her mind anyways wants to come, but you know, like she has a walker now, and it's looking like good recovery, but we don't know what that looks like. Like, does that mean 100% perfect? Or, you know, like she's suffered a big accident in a truck where she rolled it. She hit black ice. She was rear-ended on a motorbike by another motorbiker and tore all the ligaments off her arm. She had another motorbike accident where a deer jumped in front. I was with her on that one, actually. We called the motorbike the deer hunter, but this deer literally jumped off of like like in the air. The ditch was up here and the road's here, and it jumped, and we hit it right on our windshield. And so she hurt her foot, her ankle there, and So, you know, the accumulation of all those like bumps and bruises and aging is, thank God she's a healer, because she probably wouldn't be walking if she didn't have so much like meditations, visualizations, healing, and also therapies. There's some fantastic physios that have worked on her. So anyways, just pushing through, also like having this YouTube channel, like my sister was saying, hey, like you should be careful what you're saying, because people will start to see you in a certain way, and it might not be great for your career if people know what's going on for you. And, you know, if you start talking about things not great for me, and might cause problems for other people that know you to talk about stuff. And like, even if I don't say anybody's names, it's the internet, so it's really easy to find out like who I might be talking about. So, and then my like heart desire was sort of to talk about everything and share my journey, because maybe something in it will inspire somebody and give them a good idea, or give them strength or courage, or a warning to not do it themselves. Or like, you know, I think we are tribal beings, and our tribe's been ripped from us. It's been replaced by jobs. Like so many cases, we have been taken from our husbands, our wives, our children, and our coworkers are our tribe. And if you lose your work, like you lose your identity. And so lots of people are turning to social media for larger support networks, or churches. It's quite special, I think, as a Canadian, that I do have daily contact with my brother and sisters and my mom, because my husband, who's Mexican, said that that's part of their culture, is like their family. But he said he hasn't seen that in Canadians, like that they talk every day and that they maybe live together and stuff. It's not as common as here. It's very common for your parents to live with you and then help you with the kids, and so you can work, and then your kids have family around them. It's much different. Everybody's sitting on the street together outside their homes, and their kids are all playing on the bikes. And like at my old area, there was constantly kids playing soccer and riding the bikes and chasing the street cats, and you know, playing outside. And then parents or grandparents are selling stuff on the corners, and setting up chairs, having parties, and cooks, like a barbecue sorta. So yeah, anyways, we'll see how I navigate it. I just, when my sister brought it up, I just said, hey, like I'm gonna post for a couple months when I feel like it, what I feel like talking about, and I'm really hoping that you guys will tell me what you want to hear less of and what you want to hear more of, and we'll just take it from there.